That's weird. That's weird. Kind of weirding me out.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Crazy. This is crazy. This is crazy. Isn't that weird?
That's weird, man.
It's strange.
What's up, campers? Welcome back to episode 77 of Camp Strange. I am your camp counselor, Alex Tobin.
And I'm their camp counselor, David Stokes.
And we're back to bring the spooky, wacky, weird, strange, and...
chafed.
I was going to say shy.
Ooh.
Mine's kind of about a shy guy. But we'll get into that later.
Talking about Mario Party?
Wait, why are you chafed?
Just working a lot.
But before we get into these longer stories, let us catch you up on some news that you might have missed throughout the week, because that's the only thing we're good at. We're not even good at that. So, David, do you want to start?
Yeah, I got
You have
three.
Yeah.
So we all know Valentine's Day is coming around the corner.
Oh, wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
no.
This is your fair warning. You've got enough time now to plan.
Oh, no, I have a girlfriend.
Yeah, you're fucked. So Burger King, my beloved Burger King, the king of all burgers.
Nightmare Burger King, Nightmare Whopper.
I wish they'd bring it back. Gotta wait till next October. Burger King will let you trade a photo of your ex for a free Whopper this Valentine's Day.
That is the creepiest shit I've ever heard.
I always keep around a photo of all my exes. Can I get 13 hamburgers?
What does that mean? Oh, it's just like helping you let go of, like, it's like, you know, like, oh, you want to, like, because most people in movies I've seen, you're supposed to throw it in a trash can that has a small fire inside of it, right?
So I've got a little more.
Movie or two.
I've got a little more information about this, and it's actually a promotional thing for that the Birds of Prey movie.
Oh, because she's cutting the Joker out of her life.
I'm the Joker, baby.
I walked in a picture with Jared Leto, and then they're like, "This isn't your ex," and I'm like, or better, a picture of Margot Robbie. I'm like, she's totally in my league. That's my ex.
No. We definitely dated. We dated.
I don't think so. Yeah.
It still trips me out that I'm pretty sure she's younger than me. She doesn't look like it.
Yes. Well, you look really old.
I know. I look like shit.
They should have renamed that movie, instead of Birds of Prey, starring David, you'd call it Crow's Feet. You fucking old bitch.
Creaky knees.
But mine was like a bird pun.
Yeah, I know. You're much more wittier than I am.
Oh, Whittier's beautiful this time of year.
Shut your mouth.
Okay, well, that's crazy. Can I bring a picture of my current girlfriend while she's standing next to me? And then Burger King has to tell her that we're breaking up?
That'd be one way of really getting out of a sticky situation, I think.
It would be a cool way. And I'd be like, hey, I'm going to
Imagine that poor employee.
my Whopper. I'll give you the pickles. Why are you freaking out? Here.
I always hated the pickles.
She does.
This is why it's not working out.
Anyway, speaking of Whoppers, I have another... A serial pooper arrested after police catch her defecating in parking lot. But the best part about this is, what state did it happen in, David?
California.
Massive two shits.
Oh my God. I was really expecting it to be another Florida one, but that's
No.
10 times better.
It's Massachusetts, which we all on this podcast we know is a massive two shits. Not against that state at all. Just funny.
Because I can't speak.
Just a fun. Yeah, David can't say
I won't
it,
even attempt to say it the right way because I'm afraid.
But I have a little gift for you, David.
I love gifts.
Today, it's not known as massive two shits. It is known as massive 8 shits.
8.
Because 8 different times, this 51-year-old lady, Andrea Grosser, shit in this parking lot. And they caught her.
Was it always the same parking lot?
Yeah, it was the same
Boy,
parking lot.
that's not smart.
In front of like the same kind of store. And I guess they thought it was like an animal at first, but then they started finding like toilet paper near it. And they're like, oh, okay, what's
The
going
wolves
on?
are getting smarter.
Oh, those goddamn Charmin bears coming out of the woods. They want the thicker ply now. But basically,
Yeah.
I'm getting sick of this fucking shit. Basically, they thought it was an animal, and then they ended up like doing a little stakeout, caught her, and then she said she was getting a little stakeout, if you know.
Could you imagine, like,
This is too gross.
can you imagine just trying to become like deputy or something? You've been working your ass off as a police officer.
She's working her ass off.
Seriously. But imagine just being like a cop, like waiting for your big bus, like waiting for that murder case for it to crack open, like get all that recognition. They're like, "Yeah, you're on shit duty tonight."
You're
You're like,
got-
"Oh, what does that mean?" Like, no, you're literally gonna sit in the parking lot and wait for an old lady to shit on the road.
Well, apparently she was like a nanny, and then she said that she has IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome, which is a real thing. Don't laugh at it if you do have it. Well, you wouldn't laugh at it if you did have it. Don't laugh at it if you don't have it.
Yeah.
But she said that she had to pull over, but it like happened 8 fucking times. So
She
it's
really
like
likes that a lot.
now you're like getting to think like maybe you should plan a little bit better. And yeah, she said it like wasn't
bring a
malicious.
bucket.
She just she just didn't plan well enough, I guess. And then the lady who owned like the parking lot or like the store or whatever said, "I'm so happy they arrested her. I have no idea who she is. This has been ongoing. She has defecated quite often over here. There's nothing more disgusting coming into your parking lot in the morning and seeing a pile of human excrement." Oh yeah. I thought it said a seeping pile. It just says a pile.
Steaming? Oh.
Steaming.
Well, let them know not to move to Portland.
Why? You got lots?
Don't move to Seattle.
They got
Don't move to New York.
any metropolis, right?
I mean, LA is not too bad.
That's all downtown.
Yeah, but like I know, at least when I lived in Portland, it'd be like you'd be walking into one of those little storefronts, and there would like just be a big old whopping pile of shit.
And you could always tell.
You
You're
know when that came from a human. The same reason why birds know when it's time to jump out of the nest and learn how to fly. You know when you see a human shit.
I didn't tell you. What I saw.
I'm excited to do this on the podcast. What did you see?
it
Now
was-
that we're talking about human shit, what did you see?
It was worse. Katie and I were walking in
Worse than human
Hollywood.
shit. Okay, continue.
Katie and I were walking through Hollywood, and there was a pigeon
Oh.
that it was missing its whole front, and it looked like a human being had eaten it raw.
Oh, so it was not alive.
It was completely dead. It was on its back, and it like you could see it was just like bones and feathers, but like not like an animal. It was like too neat. Like it looked like somebody like cut. It was or like ripped into with its teeth. I don't know. It was the craziest thing ever, but I didn't see it. I almost stepped on it. And Katie's like, "Oh my god!" And I saw it, and I went, "Holy shit!"
Did you give it CPR, mouth to mouth? I think the most alarming thing about this story
I
is
blew
not that
directly into its lung. The chest was open.
the most alarming thing about that story you just told me was not the fact that it appeared that a human had bitten the chest off of a pigeon.
And eaten it like cleaned its bones.
Yeah, the most alarming thing was how excited you were to tell me.
Well, we're talking about interesting stuff you find on the sidewalk, right? You think if I trade that for a Whopper, they'd be okay with it?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know neither, but we'll find out.
You can cook it, and you can
It's
lob
good
it.
meat.
You can lob it like a hand grenade onto the grill.
I bite the head off and fucking throw it over the counter. Fire in the hole.
Oh,
Okay, you go.
my turn.
Ye-
Avocado crime soars as Mexican gangs turn focus from opium to green gold.
Honestly, they're expensive.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know how much opium is. How much is opium a fistful?
a fistful of opium might be worth their life as far as I'm concerned. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm just surprised that, I mean, maybe opium's harder to make. Avocados might be easier, but like they're getting up there, especially you got the organic.
Oh, once you get that, and you know, man, you
Organic?
put that sticker on anything. You put on an iPhone, organic iPhone, $8,000.
It's true.
It's an iPhone 5. It's organic,
It's
8,000.
It's gluten free. Put it to your ear. You can you hear gluten? I didn't think so.
Hey, meth is gluten free, right?
It's true. Meth is gluten free, everybody. I love when they put gluten free on shit that like is clearly
A bottle of water.
yeah, like root beer. Like root beer and a candy bar. Peanut butter and root beer, your favorite combination?
Yep.
No gluten. But fuck. Well, now the okay. I might join the cartel. You get a good deal on avos.
Hey, you say that once.
You call them avos or cados? What's the abbreviation on that one?
Avo, I think.
I'm gonna call them cados.
I think we should make it a thing. Katos.
Anyway, this next thing I got here is also food. As a man tried to seduce undercover officer with chicken Alfredo.
Oh.
Ooh, it's
Was that his stripper name?
oh,
Read that
man.
again as if it's his stripper name.
Okay. Man tries to seduce undercover officer with chicken Alfredo. That's his gimp's name.
That's his stage name.
It's like in
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, when he opens it, get out of here, chicken Alfredo. Comes out. He sounds like you're like a bucket of chicken Alfredo. No, this guy apparently it's a little. I read the headline first and it was funny, and then you get into the details and you're like, oh. But this 23-year-old guy named Albert Maruna, he got caught in a sex sting because he was trying to talk to a 15-year-old boy online, and but he was actually talking to an officer, and he said he planned to bring the trifecta. And when I say the trifecta, this is the
Hold on, let me guess.
Holy, you know one of them.
I think I know at least 2 of them.
Okay, you know chicken Alfredo.
Oh, then I think I know all 3.
Okay, what are the other 2?
Weed and wine coolers.
No, that would have been good though. Maybe some whipped cream. No, this guy's a chicken Alfredo guy. That's a different breed of person. Okay,
Yeah, that's true.
He's a pigeon Alfredo guy.
Yeah.
He
Putting chicken in your pasta. What's wrong with you?
he wanted to bring Sprite,
Okay.
which goes great with
Dirty
chicken
Sprite
Alfredo.
or just LeBron
Sprite.
James Sprite?
Just Sprite.
McDonald's Sprite?
Not cranberry.
That shit hits different.
And lubricant.
Oh. Yeah, I guess I was thinking, yeah, okay.
No. You were on the right track. I would have guessed wine coolers. Maybe some like lemonade wine coolers or no, they always offer the lemonade. Can I get you some lemonade? You know they had one of those stings up the street from my house when I was like in high school.
I don't doubt it. You're from the streets.
It's from Petaluma. You can look it up on YouTube. Chris Hansen, Petaluma.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it happened. The Sting house was up the street from my house.
You see that thing about that? There's some like YouTuber who's a huge piece of shit, who's a real creepoid, and I guess he got busted for like talking to underage girls that were fans of his YouTube channel or something like that.
Oh, is it Onion Son?
Yeah, that guy.
Or what's his name?
I don't. Everybody calls him Onion Boy, but I don't know what his actual name is.
It's
but
called like
he,
Ionson or something.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
something
it's
like
an
that.
anime thing.
But he recently appeared in court because he had to.
He got. I watched like a little doc on him.
Okay, well, I just saw recently he went to court to get a restraining order.
He was getting a restraining order.
No, he had to overturn one that he set on someone because he accidentally put a restraining order on the wrong Chris Hansen.
Oh fuck!
He was trying to put a restraining order on the Catch a Predator Chris Hansen, but I guess
Interesting.
somehow it happened that he put it on some random dude named Chris Hansen.
I think Chris Hansen showed up to that guy's house.
I wouldn't doubt it.
There's something about like him, like he said his girlfriend lied to him, and he says like, "Ooh, we can get back together if you get tattooed like liar on like your back. You have to get."
Yeah, he's insanely abusive and a huge piece of shit.
And
from
then he
all
said
I've
like,
read.
"I'm gonna lock you in the basement with like a chain around your neck," and I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
So don't date him.
yeah, he's a creep.
Stay away with anybody who offers you chicken Alfredo on the internet or their name is Onion.
Yes. So I got one more news story.
Do it.
Gritty does not hold back. Plays lockdown defense in basketball game against nuns.
Oh wait, what?
So Gritty, if you're unfamiliar in the sports world, Gritty is the mascot for, I believe it's the Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh yeah. I heard about this. That's a crazy looking motherfucker, right?
Yes, he is a huge orange, like, I guess you could say he looks like an orange Bigfoot if you had to like put a
He
thing
looks
to
like
him.
an alien, kind of.
No, he's just really covered in hair. He's got huge, crazy eyes. But he's one of the most Philadelphia Flyer mascot. His name's Gritty, and he's one of the like notoriously obnoxious mascots.
What are the Phillies mascot? The thing, right? What is it called? The green thing? Is it the fucking nose?
It's
What's that thing called?
I'm
That
trying to
is the
think from-
Phillies, right?
Yeah, from It's Always Sunny. They did things about him.
Yeah, that mascot's Philadelphia has the weirdest mascots. I mean, they're cool. I like them. I actually like that more than like
The Philly Fanatic.
Fanatic. Yeah, it looks like a
He looks like Hubert.
Hubert. Yeah, that's
covered
exactly
in
what I was gonna
grass and-
say.
yeah.
But bigger with a belly.
I'm trying to think of who NFL's biggest mascot is. I know the Suns, or not the Suns, but the San Antonio Spurs. Their mascot's pretty good. He's like a coyote.
Oh, that's cool.
There's a really good video of one time the
giant-
ball went out of bounds and like hit him, and his eyes came off that were like Velcro, and he like fell over, and he like tried to put them back on, but they like
They're
weren't
all
really on
wonky.
right. They're on like sideways, and he was like
That's
spinning around.
fun.
Look, I gotta love the mascots.
That is fun.
I mean, no one will ever beat the Oregon Duck. That's just my opinion. I'm a little biased. My alma mater, University of Idaho, we had Joe Vandal, and he was the only mascot I knew that would make small children cry.
We had a 50-year-old guy who had a tan that ran around dressed like an Aztec, and it was controversial.
I don't like that.
It was controversial. No one liked it, actually.
I don't like when mascots are like humans portraying like historical or like, people.
Also, the guy like looked like he would be the first dead Aztec on the field. You're like, what? You don't look fit at all. You're like 50, And he's like one of those tiny guys that big chest, big shoulders. And he just walks around and you're like, he's sucking it in all the time. And you're like, oh, okay.
This looks painful.
Like he does his job to talk to college girls, I think.
Yeah.
So he's weird. But sorry if you're that guy, if you're listening to this.
So they don't have a college student, like a cheerleader doing it.
No.
They just have an
old guy.
What's his name?
Old guy.
No,
David.
I mean like
David Stokes.
Fuck you. What I mean, like there's all the mascots have a name. What is the Aztec name? Alan the Aztec.
No, I don't. I think it's like too insensitive. Like they're just trying to hold on to the Aztec logo. I think they don't want to name him now.
Oh, Montezuma.
Oh, Montezuma. I guess Montezuma.
This dude doesn't look 50. This guy looks like.
They probably change him out. 50-year-old guy probably died.
Everything I'm seeing, he's a fit young gentleman.
Okay, then they got a new guy.
And he's blowing into a seashell.
That's what they do.
He looks like he could kill many people.
Okay, let's move on. Okay, but before we do, we got to tell you about some coffee, and we're talking about Spring Hill Jack coffee. It's the best coffee in the game. You guys know. If you guys been listening to this, you know it. We don't have to tell you. It's good coffee. It's great coffee.
Drink the fucking coffee.
Fucking drink the coffee, motherfuckers. I'll fucking find you.
We'll force this hot coffee down your throat.
If you don't like coffee, you're no friend of mine.
There you go.
So drink Spring Hill Jack. Drink Spring Hill Jack because it's the greatest in the game. And you could put that on my grave.
I will.
And when I get murdered by that 50-year-old Aztec. Okay, well, I think we're springhilljack.coffee.
Oh, yeah, if you didn't catch that, springhilljack.coffee.
There we go. Okay, let's get into these stories real quick. Now, David, do you ever get tired of the hustle and bustle of the world? You know, like paying your taxes, feeding your pets, paying your pets to do your taxes?
Well, first of all, I don't do my taxes. And second of all, my dog eats what he finds.
Probably pigeons.
Was it a Kuma-sized bite?
You gotta fight the people, though, for that one. Well, one man thought to himself, I'm done with all this TikTok and Club Penguin. I'm going to take a break for a little while and go on a hike. Well, that hike turned into 27 long years, and it also turned into an amazing story and legend, as this is the tale of Christopher Knight, the Hermit. So a lot of you might be thinking, Christopher Knight...
Is this the guy that lives underground and smokes poop?
No, that's my dad.
No. Hey, your dad was an amazing guest. Don't you say that.
I don't know what episode that was.
Slander.
You guys go check that. I love my dad.
I love your dad.
Where do I think I got my...
His shoes are gone.
No, they're in the back of my car.
God damn.
Anyway, where do you think I got that poop smoking addiction from?
It's genetic.
It's genetic. But you might be confused because Christopher Knight is also Greg on the Brady Bunch. Not that Christopher Knight, though. Who's the middle one? That's Greg. Bobby, Greg.
You know, as a
Frank.
child, I watched a lot of the movie they did, like the most recent one that I feel like had obviously recasted. It had Ben Stiller's wife as Marsha, because everybody loves Marsha.
Yeah, Marsha.
That's just about as far as I remember. I know the dad was a total creep in real life, right?
I think so.
I think he was kind of a...
Bobby, fuck. Why can't I find the stupid middle kid's name? Brady Bunch middle son. What's his name? Peter.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a Peter in there.
Peter's the middle one. Okay, so Christopher Knight is the actor who plays Peter, but it's not him. It's a different Christopher Knight. Okay? So let's get into the story.
Okay.
Guess I'm not interested. So the year was 1986, and Christopher Knight was 20 years old, living in Boston, Massachusetts.
Is that where Boston is?
I'm
kidding.
So
I'm
funny.
kidding.
Okay. He was installing alarm systems in homes and vehicles. It was a Friday, just like any other Friday, and Christopher had just finished another hard week of work. But this Friday felt different for Chris. Chris had an idea, and that's all it was to him, just an idea. So Chris went to his boss, collected his paycheck, and quit his job. Chris then got into his car and began driving south, down the east coast of America. Chris wanted to be alone. He had no friends, no interest in his coworkers, and was not even very close to his family either. So he began driving for days, eating fast food and staying at the cheapest motels he could find. Eventually, he found himself deep into Florida. So, what do you do when you're deep into Florida?
You wrestle some gators.
You turn around.
Oh.
No, he turned around and began driving back up, watching the world go by through his windshield. So this guy basically had a mental breakdown.
Okay.
But
I was about to say, I did that a lot.
Not really. What?
I'm just kidding.
You can just drive to Florida to turn around.
No, when I turned like 16, driving a car, I would just like drive with no destination just to be driving.
Well, yeah. I mean, I
definitely wouldn't drive cross state.
There is like therapeutic elements to driving. I do like driving too. When I'm like cruising,
I love driving. People always complain about traffic and shit. And I'm like, I love being in my car.
Me too. I just like bumping music and getting them airflow and throwing on some shades, and
cutting people off,
hitting pedestrians.
I've got a carton of eggs. I open up that sunroof. I just lob it up. I see how high I can throw it and see where it lands.
I thought I was bad when I got the people behind me with like my windshield. When you spray the water and you can see it hit.
Are you one of those passive aggressive people that just do that when people piss you off?
No, but I want to now. So as he drove, he listened to Ronald Reagan on the radio speak of the Chernobyl disaster.
Oh, he wasn't spinning discs?
No.
Yeah, this song comes from
talk radio. So he was listening to Ronald Reagan talk about the Chernobyl disaster and just enjoyed the time alone with himself. That's when the realization began to take hold. Christopher decided right then and there that he enjoyed being alone rather than in the company of others. Chris would say that interacting with others was frustrating and that meeting new people felt like a collision. So Christopher decided...
It's a good description.
A collision?
Yeah.
So Christopher decided that he would become a hermit, living alone away from others. So a lot of people thought that the Chernobyl disaster had a lot to do with him becoming a hermit, but he claims... Sorry.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say that I thought you were trying to say the disaster happened because of him.
No. But people are saying that, like, oh, he became a hermit because of this disaster, and he's like, no, it was unrelated. Like,
yeah.
So that was just one of the myths that I wanted to bust. Boom, myth busted. So Chris kept on driving north and eventually found himself in Maine, where he grew up. On his way, he would drive by his house, his childhood home, not slowing down, by what? Damn it.
God.
Not slowing down, but saying one last goodbye to his family in the form of a glance out his driver's side window. He drove until he was nearly out of gas, taking small road after trail until he was deep into the remote woods of Maine. Up past Moosehead Lake, if anybody knows where that is.
I love Moosehead Lake.
It's very naturey up there, apparently.
Right in the springtime. You're not going to go dipping, but God, it's so beautiful.
Oh, it's crystal clear. You can see through it just like a moose head.
You can skip a rock and you can see where that rock lands. You can go right out there and you pick that rock up and you say, you know what? I can get another bounce out of that.
You swim in the middle of the lake. So Chris then parked his gasless car off of a trail and tossed his keys into the center console. He had a tent, a backpack, a change of clothes, some camping supplies, and a little food, but no compass or map. When he stepped into the woods and began to walk, I messed that up too, but whatever. So he did not have a compass or map when he stepped in the woods and began to walk.
Perseverance.
He did not come prepared because it was not something that had ruminated with him for a while. This adventure was a thought Chris had while driving, and now he was acting upon it. So literally, he didn't think about this. He was like, I'm going to quit my job. I don't like working there. And then he's like, I might just go live in the woods while he was driving to Florida. So he didn't stop and pick up anything. Just like what he had in his car is what he was bringing.
I had this conversation on the Super Bowl day when we were all together having fun watching Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah?
And we were talking about something like similar where like people were just like building things. And I was like, I've always thought about like if you just went to the middle of nowhere and you just built a shelter to like live in, like legitimately like built like a basically a home. Like,
yeah. Like Lincoln did.
Sure.
With his log cabin.
Yeah, that's a different time. What was that, the 80s?
That's when it...
And but it's like, how long would it take if you just went out into the middle of the woods and you just like You pulled in a bunch of fucking cinder blocks or whatever. You like built a home.
Oh, with cinder block home?
I don't know, but
You're
like,
gonna be cold.
but how long? Well, if you're in Florida, how long would it take, or like, would anybody ever just be like you can't just live here like this? You don't own this place. Like you.
Oh, they'll
gotta
find you.
leave.
They'll find you eventually.
But I was just like, how long would that take?
Sometimes it'll probably take a month, especially if you're like trucking in stuff. They'll probably notice. But like,
Just act like you belong.
if you're just, that doesn't work.
I'm a
for
ranger.
That doesn't work for everything, David.
I'm a ranger.
Don't look at me. I'm just starting a forest fire. Don't fucking come at me right here, okay, guy. So he had a quote saying, "I can't explain my actions. I had no plans when I left. I wasn't thinking of anything. I just did it," which I kind of envy a little bit.
He's like a Nike athlete.
I envy those people who are just like, I'm gonna go on vacation by myself. I'm like, I don't know how you do that.
Really?
I feel like I'm very extroverted, but I really sometimes just don't want to be like making friends on the bus in Belgium and being like, so what do you guys do?
I mean, no one said you had to make friends.
Well, you know what I mean.
You could wear a tweed suit and travel.
You could be a hermit, I guess. So the first thing Christopher wanted was to get truly lost in the woods. He began walking through the wetlands and bogs looking for a new place to call home. He moved up towards the ridges of the wilderness to stay out of the swamps for the most part. He would camp in one spot for a week usually, or a week or so in his tent. Then he would continue and move south. At this point, he was truly lost and was completely content with the choice he made. So even when he became lost, what he wanted to do, he didn't have any regret. He wasn't like, fuck, I think I made a mistake. He's like, this is what I want. I like this. And imagine just walking deeper and deeper into the woods south after camping for a week. Getting up, moving, camping for a week, like you really do lose your orientation after.
Oh, easy.
Yeah,
very easy.
So, but he was kind of like he was more of a naturey guy, so like he could tell like when the sun was setting, that's the west. Okay, I'm like I can know how to get to like civilization from here. But
you just get a compass tattooed on your arm. You always know which way is north.
You got to come with a mossy rock and just carry it with you.
Yeah.
So one thing he was not content with though was his hunger. Without any planning, Christopher didn't know where his next meal would come from when he was out of the food he brought into the woods. He was a skilled hunter and angler, but he did not bring a gun or a fishing rod. The woods he traveled through also didn't have much of a food source in the form of fruit trees besides the occasional berry bush. Eventually, what's so funny about a berry bush?
Just a funny combination of words.
Berry bush.
Berry bush.
Eventually, he caught a break and hit a paved road where he spotted what, David?
A berry bush.
It's the road berry bush. No, it was roadkill.
Oh, yeah.
Pigeon. Mm-hmm. So this is kind of working out perfectly. They didn't say what kind of roadkill it was in the story, and he probably doesn't remember. It's 27 years ago.
I mean, once it gets flat enough, there's no way to tell.
Well, this is exactly what I was going to say. But you know what they say, all roadkill tastes the same when you decided to become a hermit and live in the woods for the rest of your life. You know?
Yeah.
You know how it all tastes the same? So also, since he didn't have a stove or the ability to start a fire in the damp environment, he ate the SOB raw. With a side of jelly beans.
Oh, maybe I like it raw.
Pigeon chest. He knew that this wasn't sustainable, tasty, or healthy, so he decided on a different source of food. Christopher would sometimes come across gardens of houses backed to the woods, but due to his pride and strict moral compass, he would not steal any of the vegetables waiting just in arm's reach. I would snatch those puppies up.
You take one or two.
Yeah, right? No one's going to notice it. Like, who's counting their carrots and being like, 1, 2, 3, 4, right?
Well, that's the thing, though. If you run into one person that is counting their carrots, that's the one person you don't want to be taking them carrots from.
It's true.
Taking some buckshot in that booty.
That's why you got to pretend you're a rabbit. How do rabbits eat carrots? What's that?
We got to get real low to ground. You got to knock out all of your teeth except for your front, maybe even just one at this point. And then you got to take a chisel and you got to work that one middle one so it looks like two small ones.
I was going to say maybe dress up like a lady and then go, "What's up, Doc?" And then try
like
to trick Elmer Fudd into a nice kiss.
Like obviously bad. Like obviously like a bad disguise.
Maybe. Anyway, Christopher
Like
was
a pilot.
so Christopher was able to hold out for about 10 days before the strong will to survive overcame his morality, and he began to snap off Meemaw's corn and pluck Grandpa's pluck. I have it written right here. Pluck Grandpepper's peppers. I hope you're happy, David.
I'm really happy.
It's just instinct to say Grandpa, but yeah.
I'm going to sleep with a smile.
Meemaw's corns and pluck Grandpepper's peppers. In those first couple of weeks as well, harsh weather was a factor, and Christopher found himself desperate, which is when he decided to break into his first home and spend the night. Although this cabin was unoccupied during the winter months, Christopher found it extremely hard to sleep that night due to the fear of being caught, which made it a miserable experience apparently. And Chris swore that after that night, he would never try to stay the night in a house again, no matter how bad the weather. I mean, this is a guy who's literally living in the woods because he has horrible anxiety meeting people. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even imagine the anxiety who's going through in that house. Like, being afraid of being caught. Like, oh my God. Like, that must suck. I mean, now he's probably sleeping in... Maine's not warm.
Yeah.
So he's probably
Is
dealing
it?
with
Yeah,
it.
I guess it's not. I don't know. I've never been. I don't know much about it.
Oh, it's very north.
It's a coastal state, right?
It's
Like,
coastal
yeah.
and north.
Yeah.
It's very cold, I think. So, as he continued to walk south, he realized that the new location he found was much warmer and more comfortable than the northern parts, like we were talking about, he had just come from. So he decided to try and lay down some roots. After some trial and error, he would go on to find a clearing just beyond some boulders that was rough enough that hikers and hunters could not easily get to it, so he began to go to work. He would rig up tarps for shelter, find ways to catch rainwater for drinking, and devise ways to walk through the woods without leaving tracks. So he didn't want anybody finding this at all.
Yeah. You think going to the rainiest place in the world, set up a big old tarp, catch all that rainwater, you start bottling it, you start selling it at Whole Foods rainwater.
Oh.
$60 a 12-ounce bottle.
Oh.
That baby's going to fly off the shelves.
Gluten-free.
Gluten-free
Well, you're from Oregon.
rainwater.
Why don't you capitalize on this?
That's what I'm saying. That's how we can fund this fucking podcast.
Make it happen, Captain. So his new home was built and was relatively good. Besides the cold nights when Chris would have to pace inside the tent to stay warm at night. That sounds fucking miserable.
Yeah.
Oh my God. There was still one issue though. Food. Chris did not want to interact with people, which he felt would defeat the whole purpose. But he did have another idea. As he walked through the woods, he would notice that cabins on the border of the forest sometimes would leave their windows open even when they were not there. He also noticed how few security measures they had and that the woods gave him great cover to possibly sneak in and grab some food. These factors, along with a summer camp nearby with a stocked pantry, he knew that stealing food was his best bet for survival, which honestly, you really can't sustain a lifestyle like that without like a community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You need bodies out there like
Oh,
in
yeah.
different directions, hunting and blah, blah, blah. And
I grew one potato.
oh, wait, that's a Mr. Potato Head someone buried. Fuck.
My teeth.
Don Rickles. Why do you curse me? Anyway, so he's the voice of Mr. Potato Head. If you
That's
didn't
what
know
I
that.
assumed.
You're like, I don't question your
I don't
bad
care.
jokes anymore. So the first thing Chris had to figure out was the best time to steal. And he soon began to figure out that everyone had patterns. He would notice that people would leave for day trips or decide to go shopping, but he also figured that the ideal time to steal was deep in the night, midweek, preferably when it was overcast, best in the rain. A heavy downpour was prime.
Oh, full moon. You don't want to fuck with a full moon, eh, bud?
Well, we talk about a full moon later on, actually.
Ooh.
But I just thought it was so funny. I'm like basically telling people the ideal conditions to steal from somebody's house.
Yeah.
I'm like, you want it real heavy.
Hey, we're not telling you to do it. We're just providing information.
We're just telling you the ideal.
You could Google that if you want. We're just throwing it out there.
It's true. So
Doesn't matter if you're catching it or not.
see, but it's harder to trace this than just check your Google history when
That's
Like,
true.
oh, you've been looking up how to cover footprints with
and
a
then the
Mr.
police have
Potato
to
Head?
listen to our podcast from episode 1. They have to go, what the fuck is this shit? People listen to this?
I'm gonna go raid their home. So Chris stayed away from main roads, especially during Fridays and Saturdays, which you could tell were those days by the increased noise near the lake. Chris would also try to steal when there was a full moon to allow more light. But once he realized that police were looking for him, he switched up his patterns as well and began to go when there was no moon at all in the sky, which is actually very smart. He was very aware of like the patterns and like how police probably like knew his patterns. So he's like, I just need to do completely different stuff now. Another trick he would do was to neatly do his hair and trim his beard. And
What would he trim his beard with?
I think he probably stole
A
some
seashell he sharpened?
He probably stole some scissors. Let's not kid ourselves. But he would do his hair, trim his beard, and wear clean clothes when he was to embark on a raid in order to reduce any kind of suspicion in case he was spotted.
Okay.
Which is actually very smart too. You know, if you see like a really dirty guy, you're like, that's probably the homeless guy that's stealing from people's houses. Like, if you see a guy in a nice collared shirt, ooh.
Oh.
He had one collared shirt just hanging there. That's like in a.
You know, that looks like a good man. I think he should come in and have some of this pot roast.
Hey, hey, you like pea soup, sir?
He likes some goulash.
Sir, you don't look homeless and like you live in the woods at all. You want to come in and marry my daughter? Anyway,
We're worth a lot of money. You guys inherit all of it. You don't have to work a day in your life.
okay, I'm gonna close my eyes. You grab whatever you can hold and run out.
I'm gonna give you 15 minutes. I'm gonna close my eyes. You grab what you can hold. Just go.
So
It's fine.
he had about 100 cabins.
All of my guns are over there.
He had about 100 cabins within walking distance to him that he would hit, along with a summer camp, like I said earlier, and most of the time knew exactly how many steps it took to get to a cabin. When Christopher needed larger items like propane tanks and a replacement mattress, which is crazy, he would take a canoe. Now, he didn't have a canoe and knew that if he stole one, it would be difficult to hide it and that the owner would for sure know something of that size was missing. So most likely the police would be called. Instead of stealing the canoes, Chris would go find one on the side of a cabin and borrow it for the day to paddle to a target cabin, where he would switch out his propane tanks and then paddle back and then drop the canoe off before sprinkling some little pine needles on top of it to make it look like it had never been moved.
God, was he a strong boy?
No, he's very skinny, very scrawny, very
It's
tiny.
not easy to like fucking carry a goddamn canoe.
But that's the thing. I think he found out all the little tricks of the trade, like how to. Sometimes he said he would find them up on like sawhorses. You know, sawhorses.
Oh,
They're just like
a seesaw.
I trim my beard with the seesaw shell.
So
Nope, they didn't land.
No.
Okay, cool. I don't care
no, it was just really deep in thought of like.
how he managed. He might have done the run and jump, and he got a little. It's all wet up in Maine. He probably slid down that hill. But no, I think he would just like. He's very outdoorsy. Obviously, 27 years. Like he knew what he was doing at that point.
But so his main purpose of the canoe was to transport.
Heavier stuff like the propane tanks.
It couldn't be that hard just to like. I don't know. I feel like you spend a few moments a day with a rock. You could be able to knock down a tree.
What are you fucking talking
I'm being
about?
honest. You find the right sharp rock, you could probably knock down a small, like a sizable tree that you could turn into some sort of raft. Wood floats, my dude.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I thought you were
then
talking
you've got
about
that.
starting a fire because he
Don't propane tanks float?
I don't know. I've never thrown one in water. I thought you were trying to say like he could knock down a tree and burn it for fire, but he also said he didn't want to create any.
No. I'm saying
smoke
you
too,
could make a raft fairly easily.
I guess he's got a lot of time, but
That's what I'm saying. Like, what is he doing with his day besides stealing?
I don't know.
You could spend an hour a day just like chomping away at a tree trunk.
Chomping away at a tree.
Now I want to do a month in the wilderness just to prove.
I think it's much harder to make a canoe than you're giving it credit to.
Nah,
Gotta get a
not that hard.
canoe maker on here.
it's not that hard. I could do it.
So, one thing he would never do, was to break into a place that was occupied year-round.
But he would kill someone, right?
No. he would not break into a place that was occupied year-round, stating that it was too far dangerous and way too risky. Chris became so good at this scheme that he literally had keys to some of the cabins. He said that
That's ridiculous.
He said that some places were left unlocked, but others that were locked he had keys for from previous visits. He would break in, find a house key, and then bury it under a rock somewhere in the backyard to use it at a later date.
That's a smart idea, because if he took it back to his wherever it is, he's living.
Which key am I using?
Exactly. And who knows how he could do a labeling thing. Hiding it on the property is a great idea.
He's like, wait, I peed on each of these keys after eating a different food, but I can't tell which one this is. Is this asparagus or is this Brussels sprout?
I can't detect my scent.
Is this beef raviolis? Which one is this?
The cold, uncooked raviolis? Or is this SpaghettiOs? God damn it, I knew they'd smell the same.
Chris, why are you doing this to yourself? So, as a backup, he did have a lockpicking kit where I don't know where the fuck he got that, which he used from time to time.
Bought off a bear barter. A bear that waters the wooden barters.
He's like, Bear's like, got a lockpicking kit. He's like, I got Charmin Ultra. And he's like, deal.
Oh, you want something else? I got guns. What do you want?
I've been rubbing my ass on this tree. I got little pieces of paper stuck to it. So,
you ever pulled a splinter out of your butthole?
Wow.
Out of your bear hole?
This is... we're not called butts. That doesn't make sense.
I know, but they don't have cheeks.
Anyway, so like I said, he got a lockpicking kit, and he would use it and then would completely lock everything up when leaving so that no suspicion would occur. But that didn't last long, as the residents began to tighten up security. Oh, we're getting into the 21st century, baby. So, as the local residents invested in security upgrades, Knight adapted as well. He knew about alarms from his one paying job, and he used his knowledge to continue stealing. Sometimes disabling systems or removing memory cards from surveillance cameras. He evaded dozens of attempts to catch him by both police officers and private citizens. The crime scenes he left behind were so clean, the authorities offered their begrudging respect. This is a quote. The level of discipline he showed while he broke into houses, said one police officer, is beyond what any of us can remotely imagine. The legwork, the reconnaissance, the talent with locks, his ability to get in and out without being detected, it's incredible. People who realized that what Christopher was doing would sometimes actually leave bags of food out for him.
That's what I was going to say. It's like, at this point, if I live in a neighborhood that there's like
everybody knows
someone
about this.
breaking in, I'd just be like, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to literally just like leave
Don't
food
break
out.
in.
Yeah,
it's gross.
And just be like, if you need an axe, leave a note.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't give him a murder weapon, but yeah, I get what you're saying.
I mean, he hasn't harmed anybody.
He's like, you got a canoe making kit?
Fuck it, dude. I'd go on Amazon and I'd go on fucking Craigslist, find him like a shitty little boat.
Paint Chris on the side.
Yeah.
For
Chris.
But here's the thing. So once they realized what he was doing, they would leave bags of food out for him, or a piece of paper and a pen for him to create a grocery list.
Well, there you go. Like, Jesus, just.
But Chris never took the bait in fear of possibly being a trap.
It looks like a sting.
Or he did it also just for the sake of limiting his communication with people. Because, like, I think it's like a lot of the principle now, too, where he's like, I'm living in the woods to not interact with people, and now I'm literally going up
trying to give me shit.
Exactly. It's like it's defeating the purpose.
You could do the old trick when you put the pie on the windowsill to air out, but you could just leave a couple of PB&Js to air out for him. You know, a little dirty little hand to come up and grab it.
Well, he can't eat pie? Leave the fucker a pie.
What is?
Why are you trying to keep Chris from eating pie?
What is he gonna do with a full-on cherry pie?
I can think of 10 things he could do with that cherry pie.
And I know one that I don't want to think about.
I'm going to leave him a pie and then a copy of American Pie.
Ooh.
And then,
a portable DVD player.
You know what? Jason Biggs could go live with him, too. I don't care about him. Take Jason with you.
Yeah, take Jason. I'm going to run a stinger. I'm going to run a 150-foot stinger out to the woods. You do what you want.
No one knows what a stinger is. It's an extension cord.
Okay, sorry.
Don't use your film lingo.
Sorry.
So
I'm sure there's like two people that go, oh, I know what that is.
So, although he was very good at his craft, he didn't like it. Christopher said that every time he would break into a house, he would feel a hot wave of shame wash over him as his heart rate, blood pressure, and adrenaline would spike. He took no pleasure in stealing and would usually only hit the kitchen for food and possibly collected other small items he needed, like batteries. But no
Photo albums. I want to live.
Pictures of exes. But no, he usually only took like batteries and stuff like that for like his flashlights.
That makes sense.
But no lights on at all while he was in the house. Just a small flashlight around his neck, and every raid would last him about 2 weeks before he'd have to go on another one.
Okay, so he would do this about every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Okay, because I was envisioning this. He's like the reverse Santa Claus, and he went to every house.
So in this 27 years, it's actually, I'll get to it right here. It's at the end of this little sentence. So eventually, after 27 years in the woods, Christopher Knight was caught on April 4th, 2013, while burglarizing the Pine Tree Camp in Rome, Maine. Police placed a motion-activated camera in the pantry of the summer camp during the off-season. The police were notified immediately when he entered, and they actually see him on camera. And they then arrived at the camp and arrested Chris without any struggle. He was sentenced to 7 months in jail, of which he had already served all but a week while waiting to be sentenced. In addition to the jail sentence, he had to pay $2,000 to the victims and serve a 3-year probation. After his sentence, he actually ended up getting a job working with his brother, which is kind of nice. And in the end, in 27 years, how many burglaries do you think he performed?
Well, you said every 2 weeks.
You do the math?
I can't do math.
Well, every 2 weeks.
200. I don't fucking know.
He said he did a little over 1,000.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So we really break. So what? He did how many? How long was his sentence? Well, how long was he in jail?
7 months.
7 months for 27 years of crime is not that bad.
No. Well, that's weird saying 27 years of crime like he was constantly committing a crime. I guess living in the woods is a crime. You can't just live in the woods. That's
shouldn't be a crime.
What is that?
Loitering. Loitering on God's land.
Yeah, seriously, it's something. So at the time of his arrest, Knight claimed that there was only one instance during his 27 years of solitude in which he spoke with another human. At some point in the 1990s, he exchanged the word "hi" with a hiker whom he encountered on a lightly traveled path. Interesting, right?
That's so crazy to think about.
Like,
how old are you again?
I'm 27.
So your entire life, from the day you were born until now, this person lived in solitude and said hi to one person.
Well, your years get shorter as you live longer, right?
It's true.
Because 1 year of your life is your whole life. 2 years of your life.
Every year is your shortest year.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Relatively.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just fucking...
That's so nuts.
Crazy to think that, like, he said he, like...
Look at this big old strong boy sitting across from me right now. That man lived in the woods for that much time.
Are you looking at me?
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Oh, I was like, is there somebody behind me? So I'll end with this. Knight said he couldn't accurately describe what it felt like to spend such an immense period of time alone. Silence does not translate into words. It's complicated, he said. Solitude bestows an increase in something valuable. I can't dismiss that idea. Solitude increased my perception. But here's the tricky thing. When I applied my increased perception to myself, I lost my identity. There was no audience, no one to perform for. There was no need to define myself. I became irrelevant, which is so interesting.
Yeah.
I know it's really confusing to think about. I had to reread it like 4 or 5 times, but he's basically saying that the things we do to like define ourselves and to like, try to find peace and stuff, he's like, even that, maybe I'm interpreting this wrong, but even that didn't even matter. He's like, I was trying to do something almost for like a society to prove that like, look, I found silence, but he's like, it doesn't matter what I think or what I say. Like I'm not sharing this with anybody. Like it doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, he's doing it for himself, not for other people.
Yeah. But he's like, I'm irrelevant. Like even my thoughts are irrelevant. Like they're not being shared with anybody. Why? They're just for me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter that I'm telling people that I'm like self-reflecting or it's very, I don't know. It's very like meta and like, introspect. I can't even describe it. It must be such a weird experience. You
Yeah.
know? So disconnected.
Such a long time.
Yeah, so he said the dividing line between himself and the forest, Knight said, seemed to dissolve. His isolation felt more like a communion. My desires dropped away. I didn't long for anything. I didn't even have a name. To put it romantically, I was completely free. And then I wanted to end with this as well. Now, this is an extreme story, but I think we can all take a small section from this to possibly separate ourselves from society in a way that makes you feel free. Whether that be turning off your phone for the night or going camping for the weekend, it's never a bad idea to reflect on your own life and find a distinction between what really matters to you and what you think matters. So that's what I kind of wanted to end on. And then also, this is another very important thing that Chris said. A journalist asked him some grand insight revealed to him in the wild, and he didn't really like to talk about it. Like, he's very quiet about most of that stuff. But Knight, when he was asked that about this grand insight, Knight sat there quietly for a while, and he eventually arrived at this sentence, which I take to heart: "Get enough sleep." That's what he said.
Yeah.
He said, "Get enough sleep." So, but yeah, I just think that it's also really important to, take a break from like social media. I know a lot of people say that, but like even just like from societal things, like your job, your your career path, your relationships, your hobbies, like sit down and like reflect and actually think about what is important to you and what society tells you is important to you. I'm not saying go live in the woods for 27 years, but like really think about it and do what actually makes you happy, because this made him happy.
Yeah.
And he even though he was stealing, he didn't like that part, but he did like being alone.
He had to survive.
Yeah. And something to think about.
It's a good excuse to steal if it's to stay alive.
I guess so. Yeah. Would you steal bread to feed your family? Ooh,
Yeah.
Moral quandrum.
Why wouldn't I?
Quandrum? No. Not a word. Not a word. I'm going to go live in the forest 27 years to figure out if it's a word.
All right. Well, I'm going to start my story here. And first off, what the hell is going on in Antarctica? Huh? Tell me, Tobin, what the fuck is happening in Antarctica?
They're shoving long pipes into the ground and like getting seismic activity or some shit.
See, you don't even know.
I do know.
You don't know.
They got some scientists down there.
You know why you don't know?
Why?
Because nobody knows.
Oh, fuck. Trick question.
And
God.
frankly, it's making me sick. It's making me sick how much we don't know about the truth of Antarctica. Antarctica is one of the last remaining unexplored areas on Earth, aside from the ocean floors. But why is that? The people...
It's fucking cold.
Well, is it? Have you been?
Yes.
You've been?
Mm-hmm.
When did you go?
Tuesday. What's today?
Today's Thursday. You went 2 days ago.
Now people know we're recording this the night before.
Yeah, so what? Doesn't matter. We make our deadlines. We make our fake deadlines that we set for
We
ourselves.
never missed a deadline, even in Antarctica.
But why is it that people don't know what's really going on in Antarctica, huh?
Okay, it's not cold.
Is it because the people who run this world, whatever type of lizard reptilian they are, want us to sit in the dark while they parade around in their perfect health and their endless wealth that they have hidden? What they have wanted us to believe is an endless land of just cold, pure bitterness.
Well, here's the thing. Lizards can't go there, right?
But there are many people and many groups of people who have an idea of what's hidden out there.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Who are these people?
Oh, we've got plenty of these people.
Are they mole people?
Actually, mole people are not a part of this. I mean, they could be out there. I don't know. I've never been.
Who are these people? I could guess for days, but I don't think I'm going to guess it.
Well, let's start with one of the most reputable groups of humans, the Flat Earthers.
Oh, they know what's going on in Antarctica.
They do. And I'm sure I don't need to go too far into detail about who the Flat Earthers are.
B.O.B.
Yeah, for most of you guys, Kyrie Irving, for most of you guys who know or who don't know who the Flat Earthers are, they are a group of people who seek the truth of our home's shape. which they believe the Earth is not a sphere like we've been taught our whole lives, but they believe it is more like a radical frisbee that a larger being such as God has yeeted through space and time.
So, before you continue, I love this theory because it doesn't matter even if they're technically right. Like,
Doesn't change anything.
well, I just love theories that don't matter. Like, exactly, it doesn't, like, what my favorite theory is that, like, a lot of hardcore like Republicans are sometimes saying, they're like, Michelle Obama's trans. And I'm
Okay,
like,
yeah.
and they're like, look, you can see her penis through her dress. And I'm like, if
It's
she,
like everybody thought Lady Gaga was
exactly.
Yeah.
And they're like, look, like she's trans. I'm like, okay, let's just pretend like she is trans.
Okay, what if it came out tomorrow she was?
And
What does that do?
Exactly. That's
It
what I
doesn't
love.
do
It's
anything.
like, it literally doesn't change anything. If you find out the Earth is flat, you'd be like, fuck. Okay, well, we still have to pay for plane tickets because it's still too far to walk. Like, I don't fucking get it. Like, it doesn't make sense.
You forget about our global tax of the Earth rotating. We don't have to pay that
You
anymore.
forgot about those fucking hot air ballooners tricking us. Those trickers.
But okay, so I don't know. I don't know, but maybe they could be right. Regardless, back on the topic at hand. What is it about Antarctica, the Antarctica area, that has the flat earthers so curious?
Well, it's the bottom of the. Why aren't they? Are they interested in the North Pole too? Or are
Well,
they on the naughty list? So they don't like to go
They're
there.
big old naughty boys and girls.
Oh, you need a pankin. Is that too much?
A pankin?
A pankin.
You
It's
talking
like,
about spanking?
It's like a spankin, but a little naughtier.
More painful?
More pankin. I'm gonna dip you in panko breadcrumbs.
So flat earthers believe that Antarctica is a flat plane that surrounds the rest of the world. So they believe that if you take the sphere and you open it up, that Antarctica would be the outer boundaries.
Whoa.
And so
Okay, wait, am I becoming a flat earther?
so they believe
It's the closest to space.
when you open it up from the bottom like that and you flatten out like a big old pizza pie, they believe that there is a large frozen wall that holds it all in. So kind of like in Game of Thrones, the Night Watch, like that big ass
the wall,
The
doggy.
wall. They believe that Antarctica is actually just an ice wall that keeps everything in.
Whoa, very cool. I'm actually interested in this right now.
Yes, but since we're not all able to see the spectacle because it's being guarded by those nasty liars at NASA.
Big NASA?
Big old nasty NASA has been lying to us, and they're the ones that are watching the wall and making sure that we don't see it.
Do you know why NASA actually got its name? Because flat earthers are like, is the Earth flat? And they'd be like, nah, son.
Nah, son.
Nah, son.
Nah, son.
It round.
It round, son. So like many of the ideas today that I'm going to talk about, I can only end with this, that we truly do not know the truth until we see it with our own eyes. The next idea of what Antarctica is a beautiful one. And now we're all familiar with the pyramids of Giza.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. But are you familiar with the pyramids of Antarctica?
No, they're gonna say Mexico, and I was like, yes.
Yeah, I talked about that. I think I've officially now hit every pyramid.
Montezuma.
So in 2016, an incredible image slipped through our overlords, and the image of a few pyramids in Antarctica were spotted by Google Earth.
Not Google Earth.
Yeah, they slipped up big time.
They got a car there?
I'm sorry?
They're driving a car around there?
Yes, they drove a car over these spheres. Not spheres, these pyramids.
You don't even know what shape we're on anymore.
I don't. Everything, my mind is melted.
We're in a fusilli pasta.
I don't feel so good.
Help me, I'm in a fusilli pasta.
But pyramids in a frozen world of Antarctica doesn't make much sense, does it?
No.
Like, who built them? How did they get there? How old are they? How many birthdays have they had?
Older than you. Oh, no, not older than you.
Well, had they always been there? Has it always been a secret until 2016 when someone had to slip up on that high-ranking, lizard people?
How many questions are you going to ask me?
Well, people believe they could have been 100 million years old, which is, that.
Yeah, I to be honest, it's kind of hard to date them when they're not real.
Well, hold on. Whose side are you on at this point? But is it possible that they were built by a civilization now frozen over that we didn't know about? Mm-hmm. What did it mean? Huh? We're thinking about, the ones in the desert, but did we ever think about the ones in the ice?
No. Can I get some up-close pictures of this? Or we only got
there's pictures.
Of up-close ones, not just Google?
Well, as just like those goddamn cold-blooded reptilian overlords planned to mess with us, reports came out that the photo was just a weird angle of the Ellsworth Mountains in the Heritage Ranges, which sounds like an easy cover-up to make people, forget about it and move on. So, I mean, is it possible the truth was revealed to us for just a moment before the lizards, snatching it up with their nasty little claws before we could truly discover what remains in the frozen waste?
Is it crazy to say that maybe mountains are pyramids themselves?
It's not crazy at all.
That's not crazy.
That's not great. You're not crazy. I'm not crazy.
We should go buy a boat together.
No one's crazy here. Let's buy a yacht. Let's sell our apartments that we rent and let's buy a yacht.
Yes. Sell them. I see a for sale sign in front of the apartment. Why'd you do that? Going to the pyramids in Antarctica.
Landlord, you can't sell that place. Well, like many of these ideas today, I can only end with this, and it is that we will truly not know the truth until we see it with our own eyes.
Are you saying that we're going to... Wait, are you going to surprise me?
Now, Toby.
Valentine's Day?
Now, Toby, what is the consistent trend that everything leads back to?
On this podcast or in general?
Yeah, just in this podcast.
It's the fucking lizard people.
Well, pretty close. Same thing. Yeah, I'm talking about those goddamn Nazis. Now, please, if I go too fast here, let me know. But yes, those goddamn Nazi bastards could be hiding in Antarctica this whole time. Shall we begin?
There might be... Oh, if it's not cold, then fuck them. But if it's cold, then that might be punishment enough, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we'll get into punishment.
Ooh, or we can give the Nazis a pankin.
So, after a secret Nazi mission to Antarctica in 1939, it has been widely speculated that the Nazi scum managed to use their resources to build a new and powerful base in Antarctica. But why would they want to do that? Find a place with freezing temperatures to match their dead, cold hearts? Well, maybe they saw their eventual downfall and decided to go where no one would find them, to start anew and build a new army of scientifically engineered super freaks who could jump 38-story buildings and juggle small vehicles. Or maybe there's just a shitty bunker in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of dead, cold, old Nazis, which would be my preferred outcome.
Wait, is this do they have a bunch of Snokes there?
I mean, the fucking Imperial Army was based off of the Empire. The Empire was based off Nazis.
I guess you're right.
Because they called them stormtroopers, and stormtroopers were an actual branch of Nazi soldiers. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh. Isn't it crazy how much like supernatural waste of money shit that the Nazis spent money on?
That's what's crazy. It's like
let's go to Antarctica, and then they got there. They're like, "Why the fuck did we come here?"
They really did push boundaries of like weird shit to try to do.
That guy was like approving every budget.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? We're out of ideas. Let's try to do some freaky shit. You know any witches?
Freaky deaky. Yeah.
You know Doctor Strange?
He's like, let's make a zombie army. And you're just like, and the guy's like, okay, I guess, like, what do you do? And they're like, hold these crystals and pray. And everyone's like,
Don't worry, this will make a great movie in the 2000s. What was that? Overlord?
Oh, yeah.
That movie was fucking awesome.
In the 2000s. That just came out, like, last year.
We're still in the 2000s, aren't we, technically?
Yeah, but we're in the 2010s.
Okay, that just sounds dirty.
We're in the 2020s, dog.
Now we're in the 2020s.
Oh, fuck.
But 2010s...
How old am I?
2010s just sounded stupid. 2020s sounds cool.
2020 vision, baby.
So many also speculated that it was possible that Adolf Hitler himself managed to fake his death and escape before the Germans surrendered in 1945.
But he's in Argentina.
Well, there's also evidence of Well, hold on. So,
But did I just fucking drop bombs on you?
no, because it's also claimed that a German vessel named a U-boat arrived in an Argentine base in Antarctica.
Antarctica. Well, I kind of like that better.
But this happened just 2 months after the war ended. So the war was done, and it was believed that on board was Adolf Hitler and many of his high-ranking Nazi bitches. And the idea was it was going to secure their safety, taking them to a secret base near the South Pole.
But like, do you in this theory? Do you agree that it is cold there, or you don't agree that it's cold there?
Oh, it's cold as shit.
So,
But I don't know. I've never been.
true. Okay, you make a good point. I just want to be able to sleep at night a little bit. So if let's just say this theory is true, and the Nazis did make it to Antarctica, there's no quality of life there, right?
Well, this is all satire. So
So
now
we will make a grand penguin race, half human, half penguin. We will fuck all the penguins.
you cannot shoot this Vato.
He's so cute. He gets close to you and stabs you.
So now, obviously, there was a study that was made to debunk this whole theory, because if it was the truth, the lizard people would have stopped it at nothing to make sure that we didn't have this information to be common knowledge.
Well, they're just jealous because they can't go there because they need heat lamps because they're fucking cold-blooded.
Well, we might get into that.
Oh, heat lamp.
Like many of these ideas today, I can only end with this. And we truly do not know the truth unless we see it with our own eyes.
You keep saying that. You keep saying, I want to end with this, and I keep thinking it's the end of your story. I'm like, this is a really short story, and then you start up with something new. You need to decide. You can't just say, I want to end with this. That's what I say when I end a story, okay? You're stealing my steez right now, and I'm going to fight you.
Now, the end of the story, I want to address one more possibility of what could be hidden beneath the snow and ice of Antarctica.
Potatoes?
And that would be a forgotten, lost, ancient civilization.
Atlantis.
Many believe that before the harsh cold became inhabitable for humanoids, this land once belonged to a great civilization. Some believe that it could have been the actual resting place for the place we all know as Atlantis.
Atlantis! Atlantis is a... Where is that?
Well, typically it's
Casino?
Yeah,
Resort?
I think it's a casino resort. It's both.
Why is it... Fuck that old Atlantis. We got gambling with seashells.
Each seashell's $1,000.
Shave my seashell with a
Line 'em up,
beard.
boys. So typically it's believed that Atlantis was lost at the bottom of the ocean. Some believe it's simply deep under the ice.
Ooh.
Now-
Boys, get your shovels.
Now, of course, we moved on for them nasty Nazis, but there is another theory. A theory that I had heard by ear. But with so much research, I could not find anything about the story I heard, which makes me believe that it is the truth, and it's being hidden from us.
Oh.
And now I can't exactly pinpoint who or where heard this story and how it landed on my lap, but due to the electric and radioactive waves from our overlord reptilian leaders, they've been shooting these rays at me to make me lose this vital information.
Is that why you're so dumb?
So I must share it now before it is completely lost from my mind, to make sure everybody knows about this. But it was believed by few, I'm assuming few because, they're just blasting us with this radiation so we forget, that even in today's world, a golden city rests above the snow and ice. A society of perfect humans, taller, more beautiful, much smarter, probably not funnier than us, I don't know. They probably don't have humor, but just overall better. And it's believed that they are hiding from our disgusting world on purpose because they don't want to stoop to our level. And many draw Hitler into the connection because of his whole terrible philosophy of master race, superior race. And so many people think that Hitler...
Eugenetics? What is it called? Eugenetics?
Eugenics?
Fuck, yes, that's what it is. Fuck, I'm stupid. Obviously, I'm not a part of that.
So people think that Hitler might have caught, wind of this and did survive the war, and that he thought, the perfect, the perfect race exists, then I belong, those are my people, because that was his whole fucking thing.
I would love to watch him
Hold
walk
on.
up.
Hold on. Let me finish what I'm saying.
I'm sorry.
And I almost wish he did find them, so they could look at him and say, Ew, what the fuck is that? And either kill him or watch his body implode into a black hole of sadness after being declined from this perfect society.
I like how they sound like Valley Girls.
Yeah,
Ew, your penguins suck.
exactly. What is that, like a cross? Ew, is that an eagle?
Ew, could you not grow a full mustache? That's weird.
Yeah, what's wrong with your mustache?
Ew, it's like it's like a booger collector.
Oh, look at him. He's getting mad. Look at the little guy. Because they are like 8 feet tall.
Oh,
I don't
they
know.
are.
I just know that they're much like bigger and that's the perfect specimen.
Don't say that.
What?
I'm not very tall.
Well, I'm just saying. They're flawless.
Say I'm
they're
perfect.
they're like the gold people from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even find them any of them attractive. Ha ha ha.
Ha, 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 ha.
Joke's on you. Your hotness doesn't translate. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder.
So that's my story about what could be going on in Antarctica. But like I've been saying all day, like many of these ideas today, I can only end with this one thing, that we will truly never know the truth until we see it with our own eyes.
Is this really the end?
Yeah, it's done.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Can I end with this?
Yeah, sure.
I'm gonna end your story.
Yeah, go for it.
I feel like after this theory,
Which one?
I can the Antarctica underneath the ice. I mean, fuck.
Atlantis.
Yes. Atlantis underneath the ice.
Or an ancient civilization that's still like
I'll settle with
thriving,
Atlantis.
yeah.
That's good. Atlantis. I feel like after this theory, I am fully on board, and that is why
we're moving to Antarctica.
fully disagree with global warming, and I will run my car 24/7 from now on because Daddy needs to melt that ice because Daddy needs a new castle.
Well, so what I was saying was that there's beliefs that the thing connecting is that there is an ancient civilization there. It's not that Atlantis.
Oh, so people already live in those castles?
Well, they're saying that Atlantis is underneath the ice frozen, or there is one that's still thriving.
Oh, I'm gonna
So
be
two different
so
places.
fucking bummed out when I melt all that ice and then I get down there and someone's like, "Ooh, like."
You must be this tall to ride this ride.
They're gonna be like, "Ooh, we kind of like, how much is an apartment?" And they're like, 1 bedroom, 5,000. I'm like, "Oh, I can't afford to live here. Oh no."
That's like not like the like really. It would be like billions of dollars, but you went for something that people actually pay.
I can't afford it. I told you that. Don't you
pay half a month's rent. Please let me live here.
Don't you Atlantis shame me?
15 days, please.
But it's Atlantis. It's nicer there.
Yeah, take all my savings.
Anyway, well, wow, David, that was very insightful about
Yeah.
that whole continent.
Yeah. Now you know.
Yeah.
Don't go there though. NASA will blow you up.
It's true. Just watch like a Vice documentary or something about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you get the gist.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you guys for tuning in and listening. I almost said watching. Listening to this. We love telling you these stories, and we love that you listen. If you guys want any more information, go to campstrange.com. If you want any of the hyperlinks to our social media, they are all there. If you want some merch, they're there too. If you want to send us anything, send it to campstrangepodcast@gmail.com, and we will respond to it most likely. If you guys could leave us a review, rate, review, subscribe, we'd love that too. If you can't, that's fine too. I'm not going to give you a birthday present. I wouldn't anyway. I can't afford it. I can't even afford this $5,000 apartment I'm in debt for. But, David, before we sign off, what else do we have in the store for these lovely folks and campers?
They got a zip line. It snapped in 3rd grade, but you can probably find a new rope.
The zip line snapped in whose 3rd grade?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
You know who else got that snapped? You, into a Slim Jim.
So I'm a Slim Jim.
Well, no, you snapped into a Slim Jim.
A Dave Jim.
Snap into a Slim
A Slim
Jim.
Dave.
You're not slim.
I wish.
You're not 8 feet tall and gold. Snap into a Slim Jim. I got a Slim Jim for you.
You got a raccoon. It's got no teeth.
I got Violet Beauregard, and she's violet, which means she's a giant blueberry, and you're going to roll her out of here, Willy Wonka.
Got Dave Matthews Passport.
We got Dave Grohl's beer.
Beer or beard?
Both?
You ever seen that man without a beard?
No. Oh, yes, Nirvana.
Yeah, but later on,
No.
there's a reason that beard's there. I've got that big old fist that's actually Dave Grohl's chin that you don't know about because he keeps it hidden with the beard. Because if he did shave, he would just be uppercutting people all day.
I got a mohawk.
No, you don't.
What?
I'm looking at you.
I don't.
You got a reverse mohawk.
Those guys. I got frosted tips.
I got free tattoos. Come on over.
I got a Prince Albert.
Oh, come on. Don't make him think about that. I've got the end of an episode. Finish it.
I got a...
No, I'm telling you to finish this.
Good on you. Okay, thank you guys for tuning in. And David, do you have anything to say before we leave?
Snap into a Slim Jim.
Fuck you. And don't forget to stay strange.